I'd like to call the Lee County Board of Education regular board meeting for March 12, 2019 to order. At this time, I call for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. At this time, we're supposed to have our young commissioners of Lee County to present our Pledge of Allegiance, but I don't see them in the crowd, so at that point we'll move on forward, and if you'll please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving right along, there is no public comments for tonight. I will move right along to our vision and policy statement. First, our vision statement.
Lee County Schools, in partnership with the community, will provide challenging learning experiences for students in a safe and supportive environment. We are committed to academic excellence, technological innovations, social responsibility, and lifelong learning. Our success will be demonstrated by the achievement of our students and their positive participation in society.
And now, our code of ethics.
The board recognizes that collectively and individually, all members of the board must adhere to an accepted code of ethics in order to improve public education. Members of the Lee County Board of Education should avoid conflicts of interest and appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of the board. Avoid the solicitation and or acceptance of gifts in return for advice or assistance on matters concerning the operations of the business of the board. Avoid the misuse of public funds. Avoid misrepresentation or falsification of facts, and avoid making confidential information public. The board accepts the Code of Ethics established by the North Carolina School Board Association.
Thank you. Moving right along, I will call for approval of our agenda as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda for March 12th, 2019.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the agenda for March 12, 2019, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Moving along to our approval of the minutes of February 12th and March 5th, 2019. Do I have a motion for approval of our minutes?
I make a motion to approve minutes for February 12th and March 5th.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Moving right along to the chairman's report. I believe I just spotted some young commissioners that walked in the room, and at this time, if they're okay, I'll call them up to the podium for presentations on young commissioners.
Good evening, President of the School Board, Mr. Patrick Kelly, and school board members. I am Susie Brito, Vice President of the Lee County Young Commissioners. The Lee County Young Commissioners is a program that not only embodies but increases the participants' understanding of the core leaderships needed to be the leaders throughout our community so we can be that change. It allows us to gain the awareness of the issues that our community is currently facing. As a participant, you're able to gain all these components and you're able to be that positive impact as a whole throughout our community with everyone amongst the club. As a participant, I am testimony of the skills that I've not only been able to learn but achieve throughout the program as I now here stand in front of you all amongst my other fellow fellowships. Thank you.
All right. This time I will invite the board for any comments for our young commissioners, and I'll kind of lead it off first by saying I'm grateful to have you here and being part of the program and speaking at it for the last 2 years. It's amazing how much these young commissioners have grown, and we continue to look forward to the great ideas and the opportunities that you provide for Lee County. So this time, is there any other board members who would like to provide any comments? If not, I think we'll come around front and get a picture with all of you to just come in, if that's okay. And we'll do it right up here in the front then.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be good. All right. Patrick, can you do this way? Or yep, okay, that's fine. Thank you. All right. Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, would you mind if you introduce the other two, Mr. Budget, we can introduce the other.
Good afternoon, school board. My name is Angel Uy, and I'm currently the president of the Lee County Young Commissioners, and I attend Learley College.
Good evening, school board. I'm Casey Davis, and I am the treasurer of the Lee County Young Commissioners, and I attend Learley College.
Thank you both for coming. And one more person I'd like to thank is your advisor, Cindy Houston, who does so much to support you and is always willing to be there for you. At this time, moving on into the rest of my chairman's report, I'd first like to say welcome to the sunshine that is outside. If you need a quick quiz, that is the sun that's in the sky that's shining bright. So hopefully the rain stays away for a while. Other thing I'd like to do is congratulate all the Skills USA winners who went to Fayetteville Tech, I believe a week ago last Friday, and placed for states competition with Skills USA, and who have shine bright lights on us here in Lee County with their competition and their skills. I also like to thank all the representatives who filed a bill on behalf of Lee County Schools for calendar flexibility as well. And just a reminder to the rest of the board that on March 14th, this Thursday at 5 p.m., we're going to have a budget workshop. And the last item that I have for my chairman's report is that this is my third month of being chair, and the first 2 months was a lot of listening and learning. And I see that being chairman of this board is not a job, it's a privilege, and one that we should take seriously. After listening to other board members, staff, and community, and I've learned all the great things that we do, but I also feel like we can make some improvements as well. So at this time, I'm asking the Finance Committee to review Policy 6420, which concerns contracts and spendings that require board approval. So Finance Committee, if y'all will review Policy 6420, which concerns contracts and spending. Also review the process of how unencumbered funds are processed. Again, review the process of how unencumbered funds are processed. Review the process of how we process our contracts, and make sure that our attorney is able to review the appropriate contracts as well. Make sure that that process is as clean and efficient as it needs to be. And also, I'd like the finance director to develop a monthly finance report that can be presented to y'all that states expenditures and revenues for the month. So, again, I would like the finance director to develop a monthly finance report that can be presented at Finance Committee that goes over the finances for the month. I appreciate the willingness of this board and staff, and I also, if for the committee, if you need any assistance, don't be shy to ask, and because we can possibly find you some help as well. So, if we need to make it a 3-person committee for workload. So, at that concludes my chairman's report, and I will turn it over to Dr. Andy Bryan.
Patrick, I have a question, if you don't mind, sir, please. In reference to your recommendation there for 6420, is that also the same policy for the encumbered? And your direction to the finance chief, is that something that's we have already voted on and took before the superintendent, or is this just a board directive as a special committee of some sort?
I would say that 6420 does not include encumbered funds, I don't believe. But if it is, both of them would fall on the same policy. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But I don't believe they are. I think reference 6420 is spending authority.
Okay, and the authority for the finance chief to report to
I
the
would-
president, is that something?
If we need to make a motion on it, I'm fine, but I would like for her to look into what it would take to present that so that this board is more informed.
Okay, I
Um,
agree. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just trying to make sure we do the right
So,
process.
again, if we need to do that in a motion, but I don't want to have to do it by motion, but if we need to, for her to look into what it would take to provide that report to this board or into the committee.
It would actually take a motion for the board to vote on it and the superintendent, to have the superintendent have her do that, if that makes sense.
I have no problem then adding that to new business number 4 unless there's an objection from the board. Do I have a motion from the board to add that to new business?
I'll make the motion that we add it to new business.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor of having a discussion about a finance report under new business, signify saying aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. All righty. Moving right along to the superintendent's report.
This time I'd like to ask Dr. Bud Marchant to come forward, please. And we asked Dr. Marchant to be here tonight to talk a little bit about K-14 education. However, we have a different reason for having him here tonight. Dr. Marchant is retiring from Central Carolina Community College as president, and has been a great partner over the years. We have lots of partnerships together with the community college, Lee Early College, Central Carolina Works, Lee County College Promise, Caterpillar Apprenticeship, and various grants and opportunities that Dr. Marchant has been a huge part of in making come to fruition here in Lee County. And I think we would be remiss if we just didn't take a moment tonight to offer our congratulations to him for a job well done. A big thank you for always the welcoming idea of a partnership between the community college and Lee County Schools, and how much we believe that you have done to help this community and the citizens of this community to better themselves and to better the overall direction of our schools and the people who live here. We just want to offer you the Superintendent's Extra Effort Award tonight for your job here. Well done, and just thank you for everything you've done.
Andy, thank you, and thank you, members of the school board. I have worked in any number of institutions, including being the assistant principal in charge of discipline at a large junior high school. So I understand K-12 very well. I have never seen the partnerships that we have had with Lee County Schools and the inviting atmosphere that those partnerships create between us and the school district in any other location, either in South Carolina or in North Carolina. You should be exceptionally proud of what this district has done to be in the forefront of offering its students options in a variety of ways. Whether it's these fine young ladies who are in the early college, or if it's people taking college classes, if it's the new K-14 program, whatever it is, your success in making sure that these students have options and ways to move into college is to be applauded. And I thank you. I thank you for the partnerships that we've been able to create. Thank you very much. Now, did you ask me here to talk about K-14, or were you just kidding?
We wanted to recognize you tonight, but you're always welcome to talk about K-14, but we want to surprise you and recognize you.
The only thing I want to say about K-14 is we are getting a lot of statewide attention because this is a statewide initiative in places like Tennessee, Rhode Island, Connecticut, soon to be Georgia, and we are getting a lot of statewide recognition. And I am proud to say that both Chatham and Harnett County Schools have followed the great lead of Lee County in approving a K-14 program so that all 3 of our counties will now have K-14 beginning this fall. So thank you very much.
I wouldn't go nowhere too quick, Dave. I may still not have a job tomorrow morning for asking you to come, but at this time I invite any other board members to provide comments if they wish for Dr. Marchant.
Dr. Marchant, I've been going over some stats about what Lee County has been able to do with the students in the high school and the Lee Early College, and I realize that it is your partnership with Dr. Bryan that's made such progress. The last 5 years in Lee County schools have probably been some of the best years that this school system has had, with programs and with success in college graduation, and with the especially with the Diploma Plus programs that have been going on. So I thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I won't talk and tear up this time. I'll let you off as long as I have a job tomorrow morning.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you very much,
like
sir.
I said, it has been a privilege to be the president of Central Carolina Community College, and it has been a privilege to work with you and with Dr. Bryant on many, many, many projects.
But
Thank y'all very much.
could we have a picture with you and the board together? That's sort of a tradition with the extra effort award. This time I'd like to ask Patricia Cauldron to come forward to give an overview of the Beginning Teacher Support Program monitoring report.
Good afternoon. So a few months ago I came and presented our BT plan for approval, and I'm here today to share kind of the fruits of our labor from last year's plan. Every 5 years, each district in North Carolina receives a monitoring visit from North Carolina Department of Public Instruction to make sure we're meeting their guidelines for our beginning teacher program. So we received our visit in December, and we recently got our report and our letter. It includes an examination of our records to make sure we're keeping appropriate records on evaluations and program files. They interviewed our team, our BT support team, as well as leadership. They survey our beginning teachers and our mentors. They compile all of that and send us the final report. So I believe in your packet you have a copy of the final letter and the monitoring report in it. You'll see the rubric has 7 overall standards. 5 of them are broken down into smaller elements, and then there are 2 that deal specifically with record keeping, and those you can only be developing or proficient on. But on the others, you can be all the way from developing to proficient to accomplished to distinguished, which mirrors our teacher observation instrument. And I'm proud to say that in the first 5 standards, our district received nothing below accomplished from DPI. We were ranked distinguished in several areas. In the area of BT evidence, where you can only be marked proficient or developing, we were marked proficient. So they offered no areas of improvement. They offered no areas of concern. They only gave us commendations. The commendations were creating an environment that values and supports our teachers, involving stakeholders, and most importantly, that we involve our BTs in assisting to help grow the program. I wanted to just take some time to thank everyone that helped with the BT program last year and helped us with that. Kathy Odom is here. She should be up here with me, but there she is. So I have 3 retired people who help go out to support our teachers out in the school system. So I have Kathy Odom, Ann Knuth, and Vicki Hayslip, who help with that. And we have site-based mentors at every school that help make this happen. Our administrators made sure the paperwork was correct, which is a huge piece. And thank you to our HR department for all they do, John Conway and Dr. Bryan for supporting us and supporting us financially to make sure we can provide that 5-day new teacher academy. I don't know any other district that does that. 3 days is usually the max. So we make sure we provide extra support for them. And most of all, thank you to our BTs and for them letting us come in and grow with them and learn with them. So that's our report. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
And congratulations to you, Patricia, for all your hard work and what you do to keep it all together. It's made a big difference.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. This time I'd like to ask Sharon Spence to come forward, please. Each year, the North Carolina School Public Relations Association gives out Blue Ribbon Awards for publications, and this past year, Lee County Schools was awarded 2 Blue Ribbon Award winners, one for Inspired, the Lee County Schools Digital Digest, and then a second one for Gold Award for Inspired, Insider's Guide to Opportunity in Lee County Schools, which talked about all the opportunities in Lee County Schools. So, Mr. Chair, I will give this to you, and also the other one to Dr. Coble. If y'all could present that to Ms. Spence. And congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It really is an honor to have my colleagues, our colleagues around the state recognize what we do here in Lee County and the vehicles that we use to celebrate and spotlight all the tremendous successes that we have in our district, from our students that you've already heard about tonight, to our faculty, to our employees, like Ms. Coldren and her BT program. It's just endless, and the stories actually write themselves. So we are just very pleased and honored that we were awarded by the School Public Relations Association for what we see as a collaborative effort and a job well done across the entire district. So thank you.
Will the rest of the board join us down there so we can present these? And if someone would be so kind to take a picture, since our photographers are the ones going to be in the picture this time. So if we can get maybe Andy to even take the picture, or
I'll take it. No, I can be in the picture.
No,
I don't think that's
not allowed.
Thank you, thank you.
This time I'd like to ask Dr. Johnny Waller to come forward with our Clean School of the Month.
Mr. Chair, board members, Dr. Bryan, I'm very happy to report tonight that all 16 of our schools had 90% and above on their inspection rating. We had 3 schools at 96, 2 schools at 97, 1 at 98, and Floyd Knight at 99%. So, congratulations.
Thank you. It is really truly a team effort to keep our school clean and ready for our students. But I would like to recognize Ms. Darlene Wilson and Mr. Eddie Sellers. They work diligently to keep our school in tip-top shape. And I also would like to thank maintenance, because every time you put in a work order, they're quick to get out there and get us fixed and keep us ready so that we can be there for our kids. So I see a lot of new faces, so I extend the offer for you guys to come out and visit our wonderful school and to meet on and get loved on by our students. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to skip over one thing, just go to accountability update. We had our ACT in late February with our students, and now everybody's heading towards sort of the finish line, second part of the second semester, trying to get everything in, make sure we're ready to go for EOGs and EOCs with accountability update. Also a reminder, just to put this on your calendar, on Friday, May 9th at 9:30 a.m. at Lee County High School, we'll have our Special Olympics. And the rain date for that is May 10th, same time, same place. Concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Bryan. Moving along in our committee reports, moving to curriculum and instruction, Dr. Coble.
Mr. Chairman, since the last meeting, we've not had a curriculum and instruction meeting. However, I would like to mention to all that are here and to all of the board members, I did attend last night an art show on the second floor of Lee County High School here. And it's worth seeing, folks. You've got some students here that have done a lot of work, got some staff members that have put a lot of effort into it. And I had the luxury of being all by myself with my wife up there looking at all those things that the art students have been doing. They don't need any more empty nights like that. So if you get a chance, step upstairs and take a look at the art exhibit that's going on the second floor here at Lee County High School. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Coble. Moving right along to facilities and technology, Dr. Lynn Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The F&T committee had a brief meeting on February the 20th. The first item on our agenda was the Greenwood Elementary School roof bid, and it was a consensus of the committee to award the Greenwood Elementary School roof bid to Affordable Roofing Company, Incorporated, in the amount of $94,906. And this item is on your consent agenda, as you will notice. The second item was a request for proposal for our copy and printer services, and it was a consensus of the committee to approve the RFP copier and printer services, and this also is on your consent agenda tonight. We had a brief report from Chris Menil, and seems W. Wicker School is still on schedule, and we've received no change orders. That is huge. And our next committee meeting will be on Tuesday, April 30th at 4:30 p.m. in the conference room.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith and Finance Committee.
And Finance Committee also met on February 20th, and we were in briefer, which is good news. We were to begin a proposal for a budget presentation, and Dr. Bryan was still in the process of putting that information together, so we postponed that presentation, and he will make those recommendations at our first work session on March 14th. And we also received from Kelly Jones, the Finance Director, the semi-annual report on our lease agreements for our mobile units and our pods. That is in your FYI packet. And the next meeting also is on April the 30th at 4 o'clock in a conference room. And that concludes that report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Moving right along to policy, Board Member Womack.
Thank you, sir. We met on February the 12th, and we went over the policy that went over was the board members' opportunities for development, and that is brought before the board today for a consensus. We recommended just some slight changes. You also see that that's in blue on the documents from the agenda, and that just so the audience clearly understands the things that we're changing is not anything that's majorly different. It's just we're going to attempt to be a little bit more diligent about abiding by some of our policies. Like Patrick said, we're all trying to get better. We all can improve every day, both individually and as a team. But the key point that was changed was the chair or the appointed current board member shall ensure all approved welcome packets is provided after the election to include new board members' handbook. The handbook is the only thing that is different, and that's something that we're all working on together. So when new board members come on board, it's kind of like having a continuity book so that they can come in and hit the ground running and know where we left off and where we plan to go in the future. We spent that time with our brand new member. We welcomed Pat McCracken. We were glad to have him as a part of our team. Our next meeting is going to be on February the 28th, and it's going to be at 5 o'clock on the second floor of the conference room. We have policies that are going for second reading and one for first reading as well. That's on the agenda.
Is that March 28th?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They graciously accommodated me on a mission trip, so we just made it one day.
I'm just making sure because you said February. I just want to make sure.
Okay, yes. March 28th. Thank you.
All right. So moving right along to our approval of our consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving our consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Our consent agenda is approved. Moving to unfinished business, policy for the second reading. Mrs. Womack.
Okay, for the second reading, we have policy 5005, public information program, which was deleted, and policy 4540, 6140, student wellness.
Since this comes from committee, there's no need for a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion to approve the policies for second reading. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, like sign. Policies pass. Moving right along into new business. Policies first reading. Mrs. Womack.
The policy that's brought up for first reading was the board members' opportunity for development, policy 2123.
Since this comes from committee, needs no second. I will now entertain discussion. Hearing no discussion, I will now call for a motion of the policy for first reading. Needs no second because it's coming from committee. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Policies pass. All right, at this time, I would like to invite Mr. Chris McNeil, Director of Maintenance, up to the podium to discuss Eastleigh Middle and Wesley Middle, our LED light fixtures.
Good afternoon, Board. On February the 21st, we had a bid for Eastleigh and Wesley Middle School light fixture replacement. We had a change in 2011 with the T8s from T12 to T8s, and now the new thing is the LED lights. Picked East and West because there's a lot of very dark hallways and classrooms at East and West. So we y'all are approved where we went to the commissioners and to get money to do this project from the lottery. So we had 3 bids, and what our first choice was to do both schools this summer. So we wasn't sure about the cost of doing it. You should have a bid tab. So what we did was we told them to bid one school, and if they could do both of them at the same time this summer, then to give us a price. I'm recommending Rowe Electric at $274,125. They told us up front they couldn't do both schools this summer. They didn't have the manpower. You can see the next lowest one was $394,000, but they could do both. It was $753,800. You can see that there's about $120,000 difference in that. So my recommendation, we're going to do one this summer at $274,125. Then we'll bid it again after we get through with this project and do Eastleigh in summer of 2020.
At this time, is there any discussion or any questions for Mr. McNeil?
And that's probably a good thing because it spreads out our lottery funds a little bit too.
Yes. And while we're going with LEDs too, is for the energy savings. Your energy is 80% savings. And then you're having brighter in the school, and then also we're the bulbs last, like a regular bulb lasts about 12 hours a day, will last about 11 years, where a regular bulb is not doing but 1,000 hours to it. So it's going to save us on maintenance because we're always going through. By the time we get through one school and go to another one, we're just on rotating bulbs, and it's very expensive. So manpower it's going to save us once we get in there. And my goal is just, we do these 2 schools, we're going to keep adding schools every year.
So which school will we do this summer?
Be Wesley Middle
Wesley.
School.
Any
Reason I is doing Wesley is because I did Eastleigh Doors first. So I'm just trying to share.
Trying to be fair.
rotate.
Any other discussion? At this time, I'll call for a motion to approve the bid as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I move the Lee County Board of Education award the Wesley LED light fixture replacement bid to Rowe Electric in the amount of $274,125.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving to our last item on new business, the one we added earlier. The motion to instruct the superintendent to work with the finance director to develop a monthly finance report that will be presented to the finance committee. Is there any discussion?
Patrick, if you don't mind, I would just like to explain why I brought that up so people don't think I'm just bringing up stuff for no reason. Our policy says that during official meetings, the board may authorize or direct the superintendent's actions. No member of the board may individually give orders or directives to the superintendent or any other school personnel except as expressly authorized by the board. The individual board members may channel through the superintendent their suggestions and requests for information or materials. And that goes back to our school board policy relations policy. I think it's 2010. And that's the only reason I brought that up.
And I have no problem with that.
Okay.
So, any other discussion?
So am I understanding correctly that this monthly report will go to the finance committee, but then it will also go to the full board as well?
Because it would be an FYI packet.
Got you. Okay.
I call for a motion to approve the instructions to ask the superintendent to work with the finance director to develop a monthly finance report to be presented to the finance committee at their monthly meetings. Do I hear that motion?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Those abstain. Thank you. At this time, I will look for a motion to go into closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Lee County Board of Education go into closed session for the following purposes. Number 1, to discuss information that is privileged, confidential, or not a public record under NCGS Section 143-318-11A1. Number 2, to prevent the premature disclosure of an honorary degree, scholarship, prize, or similar award under NCGS Section 143-318-11A2. And number 3, to consult with the attorney to preserve attorney-client privileged information, including pending litigation captioned JS by and through his guardian, LS versus Lee County Board of Education, case number 1-18 CV 701 MDNC under NCGS Section 143-318-11A3.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of going into closed session for everything he just said, say saying aye. Aye. We can provide you a copy that lays out the general statute.
That way you won't lose any of it. You want the second? Okay.
The first number one? I mean the first one.
Let me run through all 3 of them again, okay? Okay. Number 1, to discuss information that is privileged, confidential, or not a public record under NCGS Section 143-318-11A1. Number 2, to prevent the premature disclosure of an honorary degree, scholarship, prize, or similar award under NCGS Section 143-318-11A2. And number 3, to consult with the attorney to preserve attorney-client privileged information, including pending litigation captioned JS by and through his guardian, LS versus Lee County Board of Education, case number 118 CV 701 MDNC under NCGS Section 143-318-11A3. And I'll be glad to show this to you on my way by if you need it. All right.
I heard a second. All in favor, signal saying aye.
Aye.
We now stand in closed session. At this point, I will call for a motion to resume open session.
I make a motion we resume open session.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. At this point, being there's no personnel to present, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Everybody have fun. Be safe tonight. Meeting's adjourned.